Personally, I would like to see an Adventure Time regular show crossover episode. What has anyone ever come to you guys about that idea?
I do. I think you just did. No, I think they have. Maybe I can't answer and sound at the same time. So, I think aside from like a casual mention, the executives kind of sit down with us at the beginning of each season and just kind of go over a bunch of stuff. So I think that might have been suggested, but it's never. They never say like you have to do this. Like they just throw it out there. But I don't think. I don't think Penn is too interested in that. I don't know if JG is either. But yeah, we hear that a lot from fans too. I think they're like, please do it. And,
Listen to the fans.
Yeah, I like crossovers. I think they're really fun. I think if there's a way to do it, it could be really fun. But I don't know if we've figured out a way, a reason to do it.
Now's the time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Jessica, how'd you start with your voice acting? Because you're in Town Puppy, you're in a bunch in Princess.
Yeah.
What's it like just grabbing into it?
I actually started voice acting. It just happened very organically. I moved out to LA to produce and direct TV, and I was auditioning on the side just for voiceovers. And then all of a sudden, I booked like 5 pilots, and like 3 of them turned into shows. And I was like, okay, I guess this is my calling. I guess I'm just gonna voice act. And I'm so happy that happened. It's been so much fun. Yeah.
Adventure Time has a history with characters like Princess Bubblegum and Lemongrass and the Ice King, who start out as sort of like standard fantasy tropes and get sort of like characteristics added to them that bring them out of those spaces. Most recently we saw with like Finn and Jake's dog parents that like we've seen mostly their mom as being like sort of the protective mom, and then we got a whole episode that's about her being this like kick-ass adventurer. Is this sort of a concerted effort on the part of the crew to sort of flesh out these side characters out of the sort of niches that they come from, and are there any like that are sort of on the docket to take a second look at?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think we definitely with like Ice King and trying to figure out like what's his backstory and why did he end up like that, and you don't want to tell the same story over and over where he's just kind of this bumbling villain, and but I think that's part of the process, the kind of board-driven show, and the giving creative freedom to the boarders. They get an outline that's pretty basic, and that episode where you reveal that Ice King was once Simon, that came from boarding. That wasn't in the outline, and we had a whole different idea for that. We were trying to board it, and it wasn't working. And then Pat McHale actually, kind of wrote that whole monologue at the end, and we were like, oh my god! And so that this is gonna be great, and so yeah, we're kind of organically doing it as we're figuring it out, and which I think is the way to do it. That being said, I don't know if we don't really plan it ahead of time, but we talk about things. The whole Simon and Marcy storyline came because there was an episode where Ice King was doing a Fry song, and then I think someone was like, well, have we ever had an episode with Ice King and Marceline? And we were like, we haven't. Like, why? And we were talking about that. Why? What's a good reason why they haven't been in an episode together? And then we kind of started talking about, well, maybe they have a history, maybe something painful happened. So yeah, I think just like kind of trusting in the process that's where a lot of the storytelling comes. The mythology building and stuff.
Okay. What goes into like writing a character like Lemongrass that's just so far out there and just downright crazy? I mean, we were talking to Justin Rowland at the Rick and Morty event yesterday, and
2 days ago.
2 days ago, Comic-Con. I'm just. So what goes into that, like?
Yeah, a lot of it's him. I mean, we wrote that outline, and it was just supposed to be like this kind of weirdo, like who shouldn't be in charge. And then Tom Herpick and Jesse Moynihan boarded it, and he was even more weird. He was riding that weird camel horse thing, and he was kind of a weirdo. And then when Justin came into the booth and just started screaming his head off, we were just like, what the? Like, suddenly it was, he kind of. That's like 80% him, that character, and we didn't. Yeah, we thought it was just gonna be like a one-time thing, and we're like, no one's gonna want to watch this guy who's just screaming his head off the whole time. And he'll come in and like after the record, you go to hug him, and he's just covered in sweat. He's just super sweaty, and but he'll do take after take, and ruins his, like shreds his throat, and he's doing he's doing Rick and Morty, and I think the next episode we had, we're like, oh, and now the Lemongrass has a bunch of mutants, and they're all going to be you. They're all your voice. And he's like, what? And so he started having to come in like two. He would have to break it up into 2 different sessions, which we don't do that with anyone else. So, but yeah, hats off to Justin Roiland for being a lunatic.
So there have been some pretty significant events in recent episodes, like Simon and Betty, and everything that Finn went through with his dad, and the side effect of the Lich becoming some giant baby or what have you. So, like, coming down the line, are there any adventures you can share with us that you would consider a big moment?
Well, there's definitely going to be more episodes kind of dealing with those things, like the Lich and Betty, and I don't know if we're completely done with Finn, with what he's been going through with his dad. I can't get into specifics, but there's definitely going to be some. We're going to continue some of that stuff that we set up. So, but sometimes, we like to like plant something and just have it like kind of just put it out there and just have it sit there for a while. And we had, in the writers' room, we had a piece of paper that said like unresolved stories, and we had like the Lich and Finn's dad and. And after a while, they started like really adding up, and we're like, okay, we got to start dealing with some of these. So we'd pick one and just start to talk about it and stuff. But it happens very slowly and very organically. But yeah, definitely. Season 6 is going to end and deal with a lot of that stuff. Pretty well. I'm pretty excited for people to see it.
One thing that just came to mind, you guys have done some experimental episodes like this. There was a food chain with Masaki Yuasa. How does that kind of arrangement come about?
The first one was David O'Reilly, and it was just, I think, Penn and Adam Muto kind of being fans of those guys, and I think because we're pretty successful, and we were in our like 4th and 5th season and 6th season, I think the executives at Cartoon Network were, we asked them like, hey, can we do something cool like this, and they were like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like they're really good about it. They kind of trust us. I mean, they still want to see, well, what's the story going to be and what's going to look like, and it goes through all the stops of we have to like submit everything at every stage. But Yuasa just came to LA and like met with us a couple times and had all these. That was all like his idea. He said he wanted to do something with food chain. Had all these big, beautiful, watercolor illustrations that he does. I don't know if you're familiar with his other stuff, but so it was incredible. And then we kind of like help a little bit, like shape the story, but it was all him. And then we record it and send it to him, and then he animated it. And we're doing a couple more of those, like having guest directors. So it's pretty exciting.
So Ken, what's it like working with like when you have celebrity guest stars on the show? Like I remember Andy Milanakis was like that little rapping robot and stuff. Like what's it what's it like having them?
Oh really? Oh yeah, right.
But like, what's it like having them come in and like record for a show that you're like working on?
Well, Andy's great. He's been back a bunch, and he's always really funny, and he's happy to be there. And sometimes, I'm pretty starstruck. We've had some people from The Office, which I'm a big fan of that show. And so every time someone from The Office comes in, I get all, like Creed came in, and it's the only time I ever asked to take a picture. I was like, can I take a picture with you? And he was like, okay. But Rainn Wilson, he actually contacted us. He's a big fan of the show, and he watches it with his son, and so he contacted us. So I got a post-it one day and said, Rainn Wilson wants to do a voice, and we're like, oh, and so we're like, okay, and we like kept it in mind, and we don't want to just like shoehorn him into something, so we're waiting for like a good opportunity, and it actually got to the point where he called again. Like it was like the next post-it came with like all caps, like Rainn Wilson really wants to do a voice, and then we Rattleballs, when Rattleballs came up, we're like, wait, this would be perfect for him, so we brought him in for that, and he was great because he was really interested in it and wanted to like look at the board, and he was, when he wasn't recording, he was watching us like kind of direct the actors, and so that was great. But yeah, I get really starstruck, and we've had like a lot of funny comedians and stuff come in, and they're really nice. Like Stephen Root loves the show, and Andy Daly, like they're all like super fun to work with. And,
I this is, I guess, for both of you. It seems like Finn cares enormously whether Flame Princess is evil or not. Do you think Flame Princess really cares?
I think she knows that she's not. She's just such a complicated, dynamic character, and I feel like I learn more about her every episode that she's in. I don't think she's evil. Do you think?
She's no, she's chaotic neutral.
She's passionate.
Yeah. There's a great Flame Princess episode coming out this season. Great. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And Jessica's amazing in it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Say that I should
Yeah.
sing.
Maybe. You maybe sing a song?
Yeah, okay. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now that she's the monarch of the Flame Kingdom, I imagine that it's a bit of sort of a change from the sort of like wandering, living in this wooden teepee that Finn made for her.
Mm-hmm. Is she considered Flame Queen now, or is it still Flame Princess?
I think we're calling her Flame King.
Nice.
But yeah, I think.
And Keith David,
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
Yeah, you were really upset when they broke up.
I was. I thought it was such a good. I really liked them together.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that Finn obviously has like so much room to grow, and yeah, just the character Flame Princess has been locked up in a lantern her whole life for 16 years. So it's just interesting to see how she navigates and like what her compass is, and I don't know. I'm interested to see where you guys take her.
Yeah.
Is there any real concerted effort to explain the world that Adventure Time happens in? Because, like, you have the Simon and Marcy episodes, which happened more in the past, and personally, I think those are some of the most well thought out, and most amazing stories. Those are the ones that I really look forward to. So, like, are we going to get any kind of indication of like what happens to the world? Is this the same world?
Yeah.
Especially with like the zombies and.
Yeah. I don't know if we're ever gonna get super specific and explain everything, like where you can, go by dates and see everything that happened. But we're definitely gonna revisit that stuff and try and add more to it and yeah, kind of maybe connect things and explain things. But yeah, usually we're more interested in just telling a good story, and then those it happens to be like, oh, we can set this in the past and have a flashback or something, and that'll help tell the story, and then yeah, definitely. I like those episodes too.
Oh yeah, those are the best.
Simon Marcy, it makes me cry.
Me too.
Yeah. It makes Penn cries. Everybody cries.
Well, on the opposite side though, do you ever like stop and think about a few of the episodes that you make? I mean, you do have like your standard one-shot episodes where like nothing really seems to happen ultimately.
Yeah.
And then you have episodes like A Glitch is a Glitch where I don't know how to describe, or as a viewer, as a fan, I don't know how to interpret something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if you. I mean, that's definitely like a one-off. Like it's just, and that's all David O'Reilly. I think it's just. I guess if I didn't work on the show and I was a fan, I'd just be like, oh, I'm watching someone else's interpretation of something that exists. Like I'm watching. How would you describe it? It's
Fan
like,
fiction?
Yeah, that's
fan
that's
fiction. Yeah. Like you get to watch someone who you really like, who's a good animator in a different style, do some fan fiction.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, good job.
We have time for one last question.
I just want to say, like, James Baxter.
Oh, yeah.
Best episode ever.
Ah, cool.
I hope I see more of that. And then just a matter of bringing up Penn, like, switching roles. Are we looking at it with fresh eyes now? Is that going to change the direction of the show in any way?
Yeah, well, you're talking about that Rolling Stone interview?
Yeah.
He definitely, I think, when he got to season 5, he was pretty exhausted. He had been working on it nonstop, and I don't know if it was as dramatic as they kind of made it sound.
Yeah,
I think that guy was kind of, he was doing his job. But it's weird. I mean, I think it's totally all the shows I've worked on have kind of done like I worked on SpongeBob. It was my first job, and Steve Hillenburg did 3 seasons and did the movie, and then he kind of stepped away, and Paul Tibbett started running the show. And I know that's kind of similar to Matt Groening with The Simpsons. So for me, it just seems kind of normal that like, yeah, of course nobody can keep that up. And so, but when he stepped down, he did it in a real like gradual way, and he's still in the writers' meetings, and he's boarding episodes, he's writing songs, like he's still there, and Adam Muto has been on since the beginning, and he's definitely like, that guy can do that job, but for some reason he drinks coffee and is just always there and always working, and he's just constantly, you never see him on Facebook or anything, like he's just constantly working. It was funny I think Penn, he wants to keep being creative, like I think he wants to make video games, and he wants to write a movie, and he wants to make music, and I think he just wants to not be doing this like day-to-day grind. It's really tough. Like it's full-time job, and it takes a lot out of you. So, but it's, I don't know if it's as, I know that Rolling Stone interview came out, and then the Cartoon Brew was like, Penn Ward was going nuts, and so he quit. And there's like a picture of him, and he,
Not so much.
That's not. And if it's weird because that picture is like, he's just tired of having his picture taken because he always makes that face, and if you search there's just all these pictures of him going, and he's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I've already done it, So, but yeah, it's not as dramatic as they're making it sound. Yeah, it's not like they rushed him out in a straight jacket.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.